Hi everyone, welcome to the Ribble Valley. So I think it's worth discussing a bit about the video that I posted yesterday. Man burns Koran, 30 cops race to arrest him. First of all, I've been seeing a lot of legislation online saying that your expression, your free expression, the protection of your free speech, even in Soviet Britain, you are allowed to ridicule and make fun of and do all sorts of things about other people's belief systems, because at the end of the day, it's literally all it is, internalized software. I'm very disappointed to hear that the Koran burner, he goes by the homeless hacker on Twitter. Disappointed to see he's been arrested, maybe even charged by now. I'll have to check to see if he's been charged under racially aggravated public order offense or racially aggravated harassment. And all you keen-minded people are saying, like, what race is Islam? Am I racist towards a Swedish blonde blue-eyed Muslim if I say I dislike his ideology and he's literally, Aryan nation? I don't think it is. Like, I don't get it. Or like, if a Chinese guy converts to Islam and you criticize Islam, are you being racist against the Oriental ethnicities? It's strange. Now, the guy wrote to me beforehand, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm on holiday in the Peak District for the next few days. I can't make it. I'm with the kids, family, kids. And he's like, okay, I'll get Billy Moore to film it. And I was like, oh shit, Billy's gonna get another exclusive that I'm gonna miss in my home city, Manchester. And so anyway, I managed to organize a friend of mine who filmed it, and that's the video that you've seen. So big up, Mr. S. Mr. S, you're a good man. Now, you're seeing so many police, and in this case it was armed police, and one of them was wearing a balaclava. Weird seeing, East German Stasi get so excited. It's like he smuggled across some like capitalist book into East Germany, or like he was trying to like get people out of East Germany, like cross the Berlin Wall, that police thing. Now, it's worth noting that in this country, unfortunately, we have a concept of a crown servant. It came up in an Auditing Britain video. When Auditing Britain, he goes by AB, he said to a policeman, he says that you shouldn't mind, me asking you these questions. You're a public servant. And then the smarmy cop, he goes, actually, I'm a crown servant. And AB's like, dude, what's your problem? You're both. You're a crown servant by your job, and you're a public servant. Now, what's the issue with the crown? Well, it's an unelected bloodline, first of all. So, weird. And when the police swear an oath, they don't swear an oath to uphold the rights of commoners like you watching this and me. Apologies to the 3 blue-blooded aristocrats. I don't mean you, sir. You're blue-blooded. You're an aristocrat. But for the rest of us commoners, it is strange seeing that our police force that we pay for with our taxes swears an allegiance to the royal family against everything. So, in a kind of weird scenario that say the royal family were corrupt or doing evil things, they've got 120,000 police sworn an oath to protect them over you. And why do I raise this? Well, what happened yesterday, like the police are very concerned. One of their main things is public order. Public order, maintaining the former Queen's peace, or now maintaining the King's peace. And I see it time and time again. I'm at a pro-Hamas rally, covering it, criticizing them. And I'm there by myself, or I'm there with a bodyguard or with a couple of friends. And they get aggressive, they get violent, and I have to either defend myself or try and, shame them for their violence. And then the police will move me away, tell me to leave, or they'll threaten me with arrest because my presence there at the pro-Hamas rally in central Manchester, central Preston, central Blackburn, wherever, could potentially cause a breach of the peace. And we have this strange thing which Americans make fun of us. Even a South African like Elon Musk makes fun of us for this. That you might be totally morally correct. You might be there holding an Israeli flag saying, where's the hostages at, bro? And then a bunch of rabid, foamy-mouthed, pro-Hamas, water-headed, pituitary retards start aggressively saying that they're going to hurt you. And then you might get arrested by the police in order to prevent a breach of the peace. Now that's what I think happened yesterday. The police came out in force because they were worried about, say, a group of Muslims seeing the man burn the Koran. Turns out it was one Muslim man saw him burn the Koran, and he tried to stop him. You heard the crowd saying, no, leave him alone, free speech. If you don't like it, you can leave, blah, 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 blah. And that's the thing, like, ultimately, what that man did, the homeless hacker, I don't know his real name. Unfortunately, now the police do know his real name, and who knows, he might have gone into hiding now, because his face all over the internet. And I had no issues showing his face in my video, because it's in the public domain. Everyone's copied the live stream, everyone's copied the Twitter posts showing his real face. And if he's been charged, I want to see what he's been charged with, because ultimately you had a man burning his own little book. That's his book. As I said earlier, he didn't go to Saudi Arabia and steal a Quran from an Islamic museum or library. It was his own book. And what is a book? It's mushed paper dried with ink on it. And we cannot have in the West, in Europe, and not in Britain especially, the birthplace of liberty and libertarianism, John Locke, John Stuart Mill, all that good stuff about freedom. You can't have people being arrested with de facto blasphemy laws as if we were in Pakistan, as if we were in Saudi Arabia, as if we were in fucking Gaza. You know, what next? Is he going to get dragged outside by men wearing a green Hamas banner, you know, kind of balaclava, and get shot with an AK-47 for working with the Israelis? And that's another thing. Many people saying online that the guy who burnt the Quran is a Jewish fellow. And I don't know. I don't know if he is Jewish, but he did unfurl the Jewish flag, Israeli flag. And he did say the words Am Yisrael Chai, which I think is Hebrew for long live Israel forever, or something. Glory be to Israel. And and also people saying, oh, Charlie, why don't you burn the Quran? Now, I wouldn't burn a Quran in Britain, in Islamized Britain, in Islamo-commie Britain, for the same reason that I wouldn't try and abuse one of Gary Plosh's kids in America, because it won't end well for you. And the realpolitik of the situation, and I just want to say, I condemn, I am disgusted. I think these are savage brutes. These are dumb beast animals fired up on inbreeding and rage and hatred and demonic intent. Anyone that hurts anyone for doing a little act, like a political act, a religious act, an act of defiance, you're an idiot, you're a useful idiot, you are literally one of Satan's little imps, and you are filleting that big, dark, scaly pecker and getting that demon jizz down into your gullet. I'm sorry, that's all you're doing. Yes, I'm paraphrasing and stealing content from Bill Hicks. I love Bill Hicks, Saint Bill Hicks. One day the world will all know about Bill Hicks. And what would Bill Hicks say about this? Oh my God. But as well, there's the act itself, burning the book. He burnt the book, the guy tried to stop him. And then you all saw in the video, the man went running to the police. And what worries me as well is that usually when someone reports something to the police, you say, oh, someone did this and I felt bad and I got offended. I got offended and I felt harassed and alarmed. The police should say, okay, we've had a report. Let's go investigate. Why did they have to chase him down the street and handcuff him instantly, as if he'd groomed a young girl, as if he'd blown up a bus station, as if he'd tried to stab to death a well-known author, something like that? I can understand if you're suspected of a violent act. First of all, put the handcuffs on and then investigate. But what the guy did was no physically different than lighting a cigarette. Now, of course, symbolically, as I've just said, I would not burn a Quran. Not because I'm against the ideology or the philosophy of being able to burn your own stuff in public, whatever. As I said, the same reason I wouldn't abuse Gary's kids. The guy who did got shot in the head. And unfortunately, in Islamized Europe, in Islamo-commie Europe, you had the guy Salwan, the Momika, the guy who escaped ISIS in Iraq. He escaped the filthy, dirty Islamists trying to turn his country into a into a caveman dwelling piece of shit backward land. He escaped to the west. And in Sweden, funny old socialist Sweden, they have more freedoms than we have in Britain. He was protected by the police for doing his stunts, and it was a political stunt, burning the holy book. And I'm chilled, because, you know, what? Are we all targets for talking about it? Are we targets for mentioning it? And what we saw with and I have to say thank you to the comedian, or I think he's a comedian, Leo Kearse. Leo Kearse, a Scottish guy. He does good videos on Twitter as well and on YouTube. He said that what that dramatic and fast handcuffing arrest of the homeless hacker yesterday for his Manchester stunt does, it shows Muslims in the West that, yeah, you can, not only can you kill a guy for what you call blasphemy, the guy in Sweden, he gets murdered on his live stream, shot dead on his live stream, but then in the rest of Europe, instead of like after, if you guys remember about 20 years ago, 18 years ago, there was the Mohammed cartoon scandal in Denmark. Now I saw all of Europe, and myself included, me and my friends, we bought Denmark football shirts, and we went out in London in support of people able to make cartoons. And then a few years later, you had the massacre at Charlie Hebdo's office in Paris because they dared to do a cartoon of Muhammad. Now, I thought after the Swedish guy was assassinated, brutally killed by Islamists for his free speech in Europe, I thought we would all rally round free speech, European values, freedom, absolute free expression. But no, we saw almost the police cause a riot in Manchester yesterday, sending so many people to arrest, not question them, not sit them down and talk to them first, instantly handcuffed, instantly thrown in the van. And I can just imagine so many Muslims, not all of them, of course, not all of them, many based Muslims, many incredible Muslims, but so many of them will be watching that going, yeah, look at that, police, yeah, that's it, you can't burn that book. So, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I don't know if we even have to go anywhere. Stand firm. And the fact that that guy in Sweden got killed he's basically saying Islam is a dangerous and violent religion. And they killed him for saying that Islam is a violent and dangerous religion. So they proved him right. He is a saint. He is a martyr. He died knowing the risks. And in a way, if he was willing to sacrifice himself, he baited European Islam into committing a horrific anti-European act. We just don't kill people here for differences in opinion or for free expression. And we certainly shouldn't be throwing men in jail without questioning them for doing the same. And so, is it a massive own goal for Islamists? Yes, it is. But unfortunately, they don't care. They don't care. They see the West as Dar al-Harb, which is Arabic for the house of war. There's two houses. It's not the House of Windsor, it's not the House of Lancaster, it's the House of Islam or the House of War. And unless Christianity grows a fucking set of bollocks and has some manly, masculine power again, we can still love Jesus and hippie Jesus, peace and love Jesus, but unless the West grows a set of Christian bollocks, we might as well hand it over to the Islamists now, guys. Anyway, this is Charlie Veitch, outside the Ribble Valley, just giving you a post-match analysis from what I saw yesterday. And thank you to Mr. S for sending me that incredible footage. Thank you for watching. I'll see you as always on the next video.